Alright, you guys see it? Your eyes do not deceive you. I have caved. I don't have that many ideas left. So making a whole ass tier list video. Woo! Yeah. Where do I think the characters stack up in this current time and place for Rivals of Aether 2? So yeah, stick around and let's talk about it. Okay, nah, you thought I was actually gonna make a proper tier list? Nah. Dude, one thing I want to make clear is just for this game specifically, Rivals of Aether, not even this game, just the series, I personally think the cast is decently balanced to where I think majority of the characters can do it, can actually win a major and keep up at top level, unless a patch tells me otherwise, which is another ordeal as to why. Dude, eventually your character's it's gonna be easier for your character to do it at the top level, and the devs will actually buff or nerf things accordingly. Hard to say what what they would actually do, but they try to listen, so that's one great thing about them. And now, yeah, no, and I really just wanted to do something fun for once, and eventually I'll just do a Crag matchup chart, which I think is more effective than doing a straight up tier list. But yeah, no, anyways, yeah, a tier list of what utensils I think each character would use for when they eat. Yeah, I want to do something fun for once. So, the parameters. The parameters for this tier list is I am not using Lovers of Aether as a justification for anything, because otherwise, then there would only be one character on the no utensils list, and it's pretty obvious of who that would be. And on top of that, I'm only using characters that are in Roa 2, like already in the roster. So that's another parameter I got. And I'm also gonna be very biased. I'm just gonna do it based on vibes and just me justifying it through what we know from lore, and again through vibes of like what I think they would actually use. And also, lastly, I am not going to be using skins as an addition for any justification, because otherwise then I'm going to have to balance it between stuff like the Primal skin and things like Businessman Crag. So there's that. The only skin pack I would probably use is the Aether Legends tier. Or, I mean, Aether's a Legends skin pack. Or skin bundle. That's pretty much, I think, canon to the entire ordeal. So, yeah. So, starting off with the no utensils, pretty self-explanatory, right? First one up is Orcane. Yeah, I would just have a hard time believing that this thing can even fathom what a fork, spoon, or what chopsticks are, considering of like how he acts in lore and while in combat. this whale puppy literally just gives the whole vibe of, oh, head empty. I just hit things in front of me, and yeah, no, that's there's not much more explanation than that. And already straight away, this would be the character, Galvin. Like, that would be the only one in the no utensils tier if I use Lovers of Aether as justification for anything. Like, Galvin is the equivalent of like us, like waking up or like reviving like a caveman from like literally eons ago. It would just be. I don't even think it's possible to teach like something like Galvin, like how to use a fork and spoon or chopsticks. In fact, the most you can do is just give him a metal plate, and then he can just galvanize it, bring it closer to him, and then he would just eat everything on the plate and eat the plate itself. So yeah. Now another one that might be surprising is Maple. I just get the vibe that she would. Oh my god, you know, she can. Oh, never mind. There we go. I feel like that Maple would eat with her hands. Like, she wouldn't even bother with a fork, spoon, or chopsticks, considering of, I think, like, the entirety of the treetop lodge, like, where she's from, would just eat straight out of, out of what they have grown, just eat it out the roots, or if she were to use plates, I feel like she would just use her gauntlets as plates. So yeah, there's that. Alright, one of the easiest decisions. Putting Raster just immediately in the fork and spoon tier. I don't doubt that he would know how to use chopsticks. Like, or it's possible for him to learn, but I feel like Raster is so impatient and he is so arrogant and such a know-it-all that he would just be like, nah, these things are stupid. Like, let me just use the fork. This is way easier. Those chopsticks are stupid, right? And on top of that, like, it's either that or again, I think it's either that or he's way too fucking dumb, and too proud to admit that he is wrong and how to use something. And don't believe me? Listen to his win quotes. Yes, you lose. This dude's a douche. I wouldn't blame people for getting mad, at Raster, just over that. Oh man, dude, the VA did an amazing job for making Raster come across as an arrogant douche. And that's also reflective in just his lore, where he is effectively the best personnel on the Air Armada, because I'm pretty sure he was touted as the ace of the Air Armada. So yeah. Okay, another easy one, easy pickings. Fleet. Just from how she acted in the Galvin trailer, where Ayala gets mad at Fleet for not being stealthy enough, and then Fleet just going, well, it still counts if I knock them all out. I don't think she would even bother to try learning how to use chopsticks or even use them. I feel like she would just use a fork because it's way easier, or she would just say screw it and just start using her arrows like a fork, if anything. And then on top of that, another tidbit is I really feel like she would also say, she would be the type of, if Fleet was a person, she would say grassy ass at the restaurant waiter and think she killed it. Like, I don't know, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. Alright, next one I got up next is Claren. Yep, I would say the protagonist of the entire series, because this is the one of the first characters that they've decided to go super all out for, give this like super backstory to. Like, she is a descendant of Forsburn. She goes back in time just to kill Loxodont, and because at that point he is way too strong. And yeah, and I'm putting her in fork and spoon because I highly doubt that she would even care to learn how to use chopsticks, or even if she did know, that wouldn't be her first choice because she's in the military and she would always want to be on the go and not have to bother with this, and I doubt she has the patience for it. Ironic, because she goes back in time. But yeah, that's where I have her. Okay, the next one up, Crag. I'm gonna put Crag at the very last one of fork and spoon as we go along, because businessman Crag aside, I feel like you would somehow not even be smart enough to use fork and spoon, which is hilarious coming from me because Crag main. But either way, I feel like he wouldn't bother using his hands, like, because I feel like he would be self-conscious about it, and because though he's a wall runner, and from what we know, the wall runners go in shifts when they protect the rock wall. So I'm assuming he also eats in the mess hall or in the cafeteria. And I feel like you'd be one of those guys like really self-conscious about how they eat. So yeah, that's just the vibe I'm getting. Now, next one up, Aether. Aether, first of all, I really wanted to put him in chopsticks, but then I realized, oh wait, same position as Claren, where instead of being in the military though, he's like one of the guards of the Hyperborean Harbor, and he would always want to be high alert, etc., etc. But the reason why I think he would know how to use chopsticks is because from his trailer, he basically calls the sentients of Aether savages, and I feel like he would learn how to use chopsticks and then use them in his off time. But I feel like this dude's also a workaholic, so there'd be no time for him to use them. But either way, he would use that as like bragging rights, as like, oh yeah, no, like, look at how much self-control I have, like, look at me. Yeah, that's like the general vibe I get out of Aether. Now the last one in this tier, for fork and spoon tier, is Zetterburn. This is a running theme. Yeah, no, this dude, this other Burn brother, the Fire Prince, but he was also a military general. I also think that because he is not like in civilization, like in the Fire Capital, that he would just say, no, it's screwed using chopsticks. I like the fork and spoon better. I really don't. I also think like he would eat with chopsticks like Goku, like leave a mess and everywhere and shit. And yeah, and the same deal with Aether, where yeah, no, a fork and spoon would be more efficient than trying to use chopsticks. And I just straight up think he just doesn't have the patience to always like use them, and I feel like you just would be the type of person to lose them too, like if he was on the go trying to eat. But yeah, all right, now who we got? Loxlon and chopsticks. It's basically the same thing with Aether, but except he has all the downtime in the world, and he would just want to savor everything, and then just be ending up using chopsticks as like another way of bragging rights, because like of what I said earlier of, yeah, look at me, I have so much control, I have so much restraint, I am this big ass animal, and yeah, and I can use these like little utensils. Like, I am better than you in every conceivable way. So yeah, and even in like how he moves and like in his victory quotes, like he gives off that impression of just pure arrogance to me. All right, last one of the fire people, the fire characters, Forsburn. Yeah, you'd be in chopsticks. So just the opposite, literally the opposite of Zetterburn. Like, he would know how to use them, and he's like mostly a diplomat from what I remember in the lore and what they have established. And even while he's exiled, like, you would still like just be using chopsticks instead of a fork and spoon. It's a way to just I don't know. That's just the vibe I get out of Forsburn. There's not really much else to it. All right, these next few. We're gonna blitz right through them. because like it's gonna be a running theme. All right, first off, Absa. I think she would be the type of person or the type of sentient to use chopsticks to, like, for eating even with potato chips or whatever the equivalent of that is in Aether. She gives off the impression she does not want to dirty her hands in any way possible, as well as the fact that she also trained in the Ho Dojo. So I feel like if any of the characters didn't know how to use chopsticks that were at the Ho Dojo, like the owner of the Ho Dojo being Hodan would teach them how to use them. But yeah, and that's generally what I get from Absa. And who else trained at the Ho Dojo, you ask? Oh, yeah, Olympia, and I'm gonna assume Rano. Olympia, we've seen her just enter the Ho Dojo and just completely like ruining Absa fans' day. Like, oh yeah, no, this is the next character. So she is learned in Hodan's training ground, or the Ho Dojo. And then on top of the fact that Olympia is just straight up Makoto from Street Fighter, who I am gonna assume also uses chopsticks, so as their primary eating utensil. So yeah. And then also Rado. I really am positive that he would train at the Ho Dojo, or wants to. But even then, like, he trained under somebody already, that being Master Kai. And yeah, no, like, from what little we know about him in the lore is that he goes around, travels, trains, and then cleans up the waters of Aether as he so pleases. So yeah, Captain Planet Ryu. And yeah, on top of that, like, this frog is just a walking just a walking martial arts film. Like, that's the impression I'm getting. So I would just put him up here. But yeah. Alright, I believe that's everybody, and like the tier list, or I guess the list of like, oh yeah, what eating utensils each character would use. But oh damn, like there's not that many returning characters left. It's like, oh wow, this is all we got left. But either way, I gotta find a way to shake things up. Ooh, I know. Alright, thank you guys for watching my thought process on how I think each character, like, after this patch of like when Galvin dropped, and how things are gonna progress later in the meta. And yeah, no, I'm calling the shot now. This is how it's gonna be. This is how it's all gonna look like from here on in until we get another character drop or another balance change. So yeah. Okay, that was a good change of pace of like all the stuff I've been making as of recent, and yeah, no, I hopefully have more stuff in the works. Hope you guys can stick around for that, but for now, what you can do is like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel to keep up with me more often, and also follow my Twitter to try to keep up with me more often, if I ever find the password for it, so to speak. Because let's be real, that place is a cesspool right now, and yeah, it's probably best if we try to avoid using that. But yeah, you know. Also follow me on Twitch, because I stream more often than I do make videos. So you can catch me at like Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays. I try to shoot for 6 p.m. PST. Sometimes I go earlier if I'm doing commentary for Hop On, but there's that. And I also multi-stream, so even more incentive for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So same days, etc., etc., except you get 0 ads. So there's that. And also I have a creator code with Rivals of Aether too. So if you want to show your support there, and whenever you do buy the skin bundles, you get bonus bucks like Milwaukee, and you too can ball like a Laker in game. You help me out, I help you out. But yeah, that'll be it. Peace.